If you are interested in walking in the footsteps of the Lord of the Rings book and movie, accompanied and commented by someone who knows where and when this amazing book was filmed, then you cannot go wrong by contacting one of the offices during your visit to Queenstown. There are many offers. We went to Glenorchy, but on the way we made a stop at the popular 7 Mile Point. From the village of Glenorchy at the northern end of Lake Wakatipu, you can see the northwestern slopes of Mount Earnslaw, which appeared in the opening sequence of The Two Towers. From Glenorchy you can also discover the Lothlorien Beechwood on your way to paradise. On this journey to the famous film locations of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, we encountered breathtaking scenery, amazing ancient beech forest, braided rivers and glacier-carved valleys.
Seven Mile Point is a reserve and viewpoint on Glenorchy Queenstown Road. It is 7 kilometers from Queenstown and takes a few minutes by car. The views from this viewpoint are superb. Walter Peak is directly to the south across Lake Wakatipu, with Cecil Peak to the southeast. From this part of the lake, look east for one of the best views of the Remarkables. You can also walk or cycle along the 7 Mile Point track around the coast and across the point through native forest regrowth and exotic pines to Wilson Bay, which has a pretty lakeside beach and is next to the main road. Allow 90 minutes each way for the walk.
History in New Zealand doesn't get much more interactive than the Kingston Flyer, an old steam train that makes short sightseeing trips near Queenstown. The train returned to the tracks recently after being out of service for almost a decade. We went to Kingston to check it out. The Kingston Flyer train now runs every Sunday from September to June. There are also tours on some public holidays and special occasions. From Queenstown it takes about 40 minutes by road to the starting station in Kingston. The road runs along Lake Wakatipu and is one of the most beautiful in New Zealand. The train journey from Kingston to the terminus at Fairlight Station takes about 45 minutes along the 14-kilometre line. The line was originally built at the end of the 19th century as far as the town of Indochina. It had about 150 kilometers at the time. Unfortunately, this part of it has not been preserved. Considerable effort has been made to preserve what we see today and put it back into operation in 2022, at least as a cultural attraction.
We continued along the road to Garston, where we stopped at the Hunny shop. You can't miss Hunny shop. It is nicely decorated on the outside. It is very stylishly furnished inside. The owners are beekeepers who produce their own clover, manuka, and thyme honey. After this nice stop, we set off further towards the westernmost tip of the South Island to Teanau.
What do you do when you get off the plane in Auckland? In fact, you go to the chosen rental company, get into the car and drive. First around the North Island. We drove about 2,400 kilometers here. One prettier than the other. And what followed? Well, the South Island. We drove about 3,000 kilometers here. We didn't get everywhere we wanted to go. Recent rains have caused a landslide that has blocked part of the SH6 highway on the west coast, making it impassable. So we had to cross the Southern Alps earlier than we had planned. New Zealand roads, if we leave out the multi-lane roads near the big cities, do not allow to drive very fast. But that's why you don't go to New Zealand. One likes to take the time to admire the beauty of the landscape that one passes. What is nice is that the roads are very carefully marked even in the countryside. Each turn has a recommended speed for passing. Bridges are often one way, where one side always has priority. It works flawlessly. The drivers are very considerate.